All right, what's up, family? We're here at our septic tank. As it says, tank alarm system. Ours has cut on. So normally, when your tank alarm cut on, it's normally because the water levels in your septic tank is too high. It possibly could be even too low. But I cut it off now, and that's what you should do. Cut it off. Otherwise, it'll be beeping all night. But just to let you see, it is on. So I'm gonna cut it back on. As it says, test, normal, silence. So I put it on silence. Let me say it again. I don't know if the annoyance with that noise. It normally says test, normal, silent. Right now, instead of having that on all day, I put it to silent. And now we already called a professional to come out, and they got to vac out of our tank. All right, family. So this is the part here where you got your inlet and your outlet of your septic tank. Now remember, before I did a video where I said concrete over your septic tank, where I left an access point, because you definitely need that. Unfortunately, I've known some people to do concrete and they totally forgot they had a septic tank, and it's unfortunate they have to bust up their pretty work because they forgot, they covered it, and when the issue come up, it's a major issue. So we made it like this also. Remember, before I had the ones sticking up, but then I redid it, so now it's flush, proper way it should be. All right, that's on. Doing this, so when a guy gets here, we all ready to go for him, no hesitation. Now I'm gonna dig this dirt up, put it in here. When I finish, I'll put that dirt back, put the concrete. Now, like I said, you got your inlet and your outlet. As you look, I say about 4 feet or so, this will be where the other one is. So I gotta dig up this area too, because you gotta vac both points out. And that's it. I'm just gonna fill this up. Should have probably got the other bigger bucket, but we're gonna make do. All right, here we go. The inlet, the outlet. See the little septic pods I've been using, working pretty good, I guess. But also, I love these gentlemen, man. They did a wonderful job in figuring out my problem here. Turns out the wires were cut. Seems like the problem, the previous motor, the wires was cut, as you can see right there. And the people kept coming out, but all along the motor was not working. So it didn't matter how much they pumped that down, the motor was not working.
Right.
Ain't that some crap? And they never peeped that out. You guys did. All right, folks. So now we solved the problem. Now, the real big issue that I was having was, before we bought this property, I remember one of the other neighbors came and told me over here in the leach field was constantly being a problem. And that made me worrisome, made me a little scared, because he said the previous owner had the septic people come out about 2-3 different times. And he's like, I don't know what that's all about. So that raised concern. I'm like, why do they keep coming out? Why he keep getting this done? Turns out, you see this wiring here? That goes to the motor, the pump. This wiring, man, it was cut, which was horrible. Or I guess they took it with them. The wiring was cut. Never mind, it's no big deal, but just believe me when I tell you. The old wiring was cut right here. Both of these was cut. So now I was like, oh man, and the guy said, yeah, you need a new motor. That's why it's not pumping out. And then when they took the lid over here for the other part, they took the big lid out where the motor is at. The wires was cut in there too, explaining why this wasn't pumping down the way it's supposed to. So now obviously I got a new motor, new wires, all that. So so to prevent that from ever happening again, I put the wires in a PVC. We're gonna drop this down in here. That's gonna protect the wires. I'm gonna drop that down in there. And we're gonna backfill it up. So at least we got some protection now, opposed to just the wires just being exposed. And then I'm gonna also mark it. So.
And it's always good to dig deeper so you can put the pipe a little bit more inside of the hole, right?
Exactly. Yeah, so boom. Let me get my shovel. Yeah, so that was the problem. Now problem solved. And we're covering that pipe, so now even if you was to dig, you won't easily hit a wire because it's in this PVC. It's in the pipe now. And that solves a lot of the problem right there. This big chunk. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. All right.
So now
We're just gonna cover it back up. Yeah, cover everything back up.
Good job.
Ultimately, what the previous owner didn't solve is like a statement what my wife always say. I always feel like we fixing somebody else's problems. Well, since we bought the house, their old problems they covered up with a Band-Aid. Now we fixing it the right way. We won't have a problem with this septic tank for many years to come now. Got a new motor in there, new pump.
Good job.
All right, folks. All right, so now that we got the problem solved, now we just simply gonna put all the dirt back. Like I said, inlet, outlet. That's pretty much it. All right, so this is the other side. Put this dirt back with my workout. That was quick and easy. Wow, that was quicker than shoveling. Let's see. All right, so we had the finished job here. Put all this back. Boom, nice fit. You know, come on this side. Here we go. We back in business. And remember, like the video showed y'all before, you want to put this down nice and flush so it's not a trip hazard. Put that, slide that right back down in there. Slide those back in. Slide that back in. Now, it's raining now, but I'm gonna still rinse this off. See, we are now back flush, even. Close that off. But ultimately, like I said, we thought we had to have this pumped out. That's why it's really good to problem solve an issue. It's really good to problem solve an issue. It's just like anything that you buy. At the end of the book, whatever mechanical thing you buy, it always have a thing at the back of the book that says troubleshooting. This was a troubleshooting thing because the previous owner kept having a septic tank people come out and vac out that area by the leach field about 3 times in like a short period of time that shouldn't have been happening. And it turns out whoever was vacuuming it out, they never was figuring out what was the problem. They should not have been vacuuming it out that many times. Turns out the pump wires were cut in 2 different areas, and it didn't matter where they was cut, it was cut, and therefore the pump was not working. So this thing was seeping out little at a time, but that's why it was happening to be pumped out so often. So once we problem solved, they found out, I found out the wires was cut right there. And then once he opened up the lid over here in this other area, like I found out where the wires came, remember earlier in the video I showed you I put the wires now in the PVC is protected. The wires were cut right about here. And I was like, man, that seems like that's the problem. It's not pumping because the wires are cut. That's crazy. And the previous owner didn't catch it. The previous septic tank company that came out, they didn't catch it. They kept pumping over there. That's useless. So then not only these wires were cut right about here, but then once it got into the tank, inside the tank, believe it or not, inside the tank, the wires were cut as well. So now, like I said, problem solved, Red. We open that up, put a new pump, new wires, and now we put the wires in a PVC tubing to protect it. Now we didn't even have to pump that out because why? Once you put the new pump in, it pumped like real easy. And as you can see earlier in the video also, I didn't have much sludge. Those septic tank pods, they work, family. Use those. Those septic tank, I do them once a month, every month. And those things, as you see the water right here, as I showed earlier in the video, see how it was mostly water, not a whole lot of sludge. It was a lot of just water, which means the tank is clean. And that's what you want. All right, one last thing I forgot to mention, since the complete finish, is the tank alert system, right? Remember before it was so if you could zoom in, come in close, as I said before, you could see that clearly. To the far left, it says test. It should always be in the middle, which is normal working way. And then at the end it says silence. So problem we had, it was going off. See, it was doing this all day. The light was on, as you can see. The light was on, and it was buzzing. I'm gonna tell you, I was in the house. I thought I had an electrical problem in the house because I was in the house when this set off. And then we came out, we see that the problem was this. And so when that happens, you come outside and you put it to silent, cut it off until a professional come out and solves your problem. Then once the problem is solved, put it back to normal. And now it's back working normal. And if you have a problem in the future, this gonna set off again with the light gonna go on and the sound gonna buzz. Now that's the end of the video. Hope y'all learned something. Hope y'all appreciate something. Each one teach one. Peace. And now we're back, totally finished, complete job, back clean. Remember, inlet, outlet, and that was the problem out there, over there. That was the problem. But I'm feeling some dirt right there some more. But see, we're back clean, back the way it's supposed to be. No more problem.